Okay, so I wanted to jump on here and Bill um, make you guys aware um, that the webinar is a go. I was planning to do a big launch today and have graphics and flyers and all kind of write ups and things like that. Have a big social media campaign, and well, it clearly that didn't happen. I'm still working on that. Hey, Julie, still working on that. So you guys will be seeing some of that come up later. But I wanted you guys to know that the webinar. Let me see. Can y'all hear me? Let me do a sound check right quick because let me do a sound check. Okay, all right. I'm not seeing um, the little things out here. Hey, if you guys have been inboxing me, I'm getting to you tonight after this video. So some of you still need to be scheduled for tomorrow. I apologize about the delay. I will be getting you guys scheduled and responding to your emails after this video. All right, you have my word. Like I said, I've just been um, productive with some things. Anyway, want to let you guys know officially that Guard 2019, the protection webinar is officially a go. It is going to be Friday, January 25th. All right, 7 o'clock p.m. That's going to be Eastern Standard Time. So that's January 25th. It's going to be a Friday. So go ahead and mark that off on your calendar. The registration fee is $50. All right, it's going to be a 2-hour webinar. So if you're planning on attending, make sure, that you make space for about 2 hours, maybe about 2 hours, 15 minutes. You know how we get a little excited in those webinars on the 25th of July. Not of July, my God. My mind's already in July. Of January, excuse me. January 25th, this month, January 25th, 2019, 7 o'clock to about 9 o'clock. Is going to be our Guard 2019 webinar, pretty much our webinar on protection. Protection magic, protection hoodoo, protection conjure. We're going to give you some rituals. We're going to give you some recipes. We're going to give you some revelations and some concepts about how to revolutionize your protection regimen, how to boost it up. Okay. If you don't have one, we're going to get you one. If you've got one, we're going to fortify what you already have. All right. I'm still not quite settled on what I want to demonstrate, but I think I know today. I'm going to show in my demonstration how to create a psychic decoy. How to create a psychic decoy. My guest, you guys know him, excuse me, hey there, is Master Dogon Krieger of artbykrieger.com. He's also been my student for about 8 months now. So he has already completed level 1 of his training. He's already gone through the 6-month stint of level 1 of my intensives. And so he's also going to be bringing information. He's going to be bringing demonstrations as well, along with other, techniques, recipes, etc. So it's going to be a great time of sharing and of information. If you are a new subscriber, welcome. If you are watching the replay, be sure to leave a comment. Let me know what I said that raised your eyebrow or interests you. You want to hear more of. I really want to get these comments on and on and popping and very interactive. So those of you who are coming in, Nessa, God bless you. Janita, Julie, My Infinity 123, Mind of Angel. Hello to all of you, all the other unnamed folks out there who are viewing. Thanks for stopping by. But that's what I really wanted to cover and to get the word out. Now, last year, I'm gonna tell you this. All right, we're not gonna have what we had last year. Now, last year, y'all wanted to act brand new. Y'all wanted to bum rush me at the last minute to get into the webinar. I had people trying to bribe me. Doc, I'll pay this much if you give me a ticket. We're not having none of that. Okay, this month. I'll tell you that right now. So I'm coming out, a whole extra week earlier. Last time I gave you about 2 weeks notice, that's how I felt about jobs. You got to give them 2 weeks notice if you're going to leave. I'm going to give you guys about 3 weeks notice. All right. That there's going to be our big monthly webinar on January. Oh, thank you. January 25th. All right. It is $50. As a matter of fact, the other thing we did is we gave you guys more time to know. All right. 3 weeks in advance. And secondly, we even put in 5 extra slots. All right, 5 extra slots. So because that's what happened. Last time we had 5 people who, like the day of, were trying to get in. You guys know that last year I stopped registration. Um, Wednesday of that week because I got to do the back channeling. I got to get all the emails together, send out the link. It's a lot of other behind the scene logistical stuff. I didn't want to be doing a lot of last minute stuff at the last minute. I get frustrated and things like that, so I don't like doing that. So let me kind of give you a hey Tiffany. Let me put the link here. I also put in the description below. I am going to have a little promo video and all that great stuff. You know how I do. But I wanted to come out the spirit that I need to release this today. So I am. Let me. Where is it? Okay, there it is. Okay, so you want to get in ASAP, all right? There's only 25 seats available. Once that's it, that's it. We are shutting down. You will have to buy the replay. There's going to be a delay with that. You might have to wait 2-3 weeks to get the replay. And of course, the replay is going to be more expensive than getting in there live. The reason I do that is for a couple of reasons. Number one, the most important reason is because it's very difficult to do something in a live webinar format when nobody shows up live. Okay, imagine a YouTube creator doing a YouTube live and nobody's there in the chat room with them giving them feedback. It's very, very awkward. So y'all get you can call it, well, not really a discount, but y'all get a cheaper price because y'all actually add to the webinar. Part of the webinar is the Q&A. Think about we get there and there's nobody there to ask questions. You get my point. So yeah. Let me say this other thing too while it's on my mind. I'll come back to the webinar in a second. One of the most important questions I get asked is if you do traditional conjure, Bible-based hoodoo, etc., how do you justify your spiritual practice as a spiritualist or spiritual worker when the Bible condemns things like divination, speaking with the dead, and all these other kinds of things? How do you do that? How many of you have thought about that question or were curious about the answer to that question? Let me know in the comments. Man, there's a big delay in there. Okay. Maybe I don't know if it's on my end or YouTube or whatever. But I know that that is a big question that is. Hold on a second. I need to move this over there. It's a big question that is asked, and the answer to that is, hello, Imani, is that the scriptures contend that that is witchcraft. And when I use the term witchcraft, I want to put a very quick disclaimer out there. I'm not using the word as to be derogatory to Wicca or different British or European forms of spiritual practice. Okay, I don't mean to slight that at all. Hey, from Seattle. By witchcraft, biblically, witchcraft verse describes two things. Either the unauthorized use or the misuse of spiritual technologies. All right. The unauthorized use or the misuse of spiritual technologies. So, what you'll find is there are individuals in the scriptures who use, let's say, for example, astrology. Okay. A good example of that would be Deborah or Deborah, the judge of Israel. You can find it in Judges chapter 5. Judges chapter 5. Where we see that Deborah, who is a prophetess, is able to use astrology to prognosticate what strategy Israel should use against their adversary. Now, other places you will see a rebuttal against that. Well, what's the difference? When you see rebuttal, it is normally against the use of that to the general public, to the general populace. All right. Those who are in the exoteric, right? Those on the outside, those who do not know. All right. The public. All right. The obvious versus the esoteric, the inner, the secret knowledge. All right. And those who've been trained in the mystery schools, they know the mysteries of the heavens. They know the celestial mysteries of astrology, for example, or working with crystals and herbs and etc. All right. So that's what is meant. That is why Paul in the book of Galatians calls it a work of the flesh. In other words, or sin of the flesh. In other words, it can be used from a very egoic perspective. When a person uses it, they have not been authorized to use it. All right. That's why Samuel says that witchcraft is like rebellion because you are rebelling. It is an unauthorized use of spiritual technology or a misuse of spiritual technology and protocols. All right. So that's a question I get asked a lot. So I want to have a formal and a public response to that question. All right. If you're not trained in these spiritual systems, if you've not been coached in them, if you do not have the proper spiritual license to perform certain things, then don't. Doing so outside of the appropriate protocols, outside of the appropriate training, is witchcraft. All right. So I'm hoping that that helps. Hoping that helps. Um, yeah. So that being said, what is on your mind? What have you been working on? What have you been working with? I've got about a good 30 minutes or so to check in with you guys. And I'm hoping that the my Wi-Fi's been kind of doing some crazy stuff lately, so I'm hoping that the internet is good. All right. So I'll give you an example of what I mean. In the book of I want to say uh, Leviticus. It might be in Leviticus or Numbers. I have to fact check. It may even be in Exodus. I can't think of it right now. But anyway, there's an example there where the sons of Aaron are offering up what the scripture calls a strange fire. And the phrase strange fire is synonymous with witchcraft. All right. And the reason for that is because they were not authorized by the high priest to work the altars of fire. All right. And so it was not considered a holy fire or a holy offering, which is what it would have been had Aaron presided. It was considered a strange fire. All right. Let's bring this more closer to home. All right. When, for example, you are doing blood sacrifices. All right, you're doing blood sacrifices, and you don't have the proper protocols, all right, to perform such an ebo or such a sacrifice. Okay, that is considered by the spirits a strange offering, a strange fire, a peculiar thing. Who is that? What is that? What are they doing? It's strange. So they will not respond, or they may respond in a way you don't want them to respond in. It's strange. It's a strange fire. Okay. There is another example of this in the scripture in the Old Testament about that Leviticus chapter 10. Thank you. See, she was in the spirit. Um, where I knew it was probably in Leviticus somewhere, talking about the priest, Levi, where it talks about you can't offer sacrifices outside of the confines of the temple. All right. That would be considered witchcraft. All right. That would be considered a strange fire, a strange offering, a strange sacrifice. Okay. So when you're not skilled and you're not trained, then you start mixing up you trying to draw your boss closer to you, but you put them in a sour jar. It's a strange fire. It's a strange fire, you see. You don't know what you're doing. And you know you don't know what you're doing. You find something on YouTube, you find something on Instagram or on Facebook, and you say, I'm gonna try it. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna try. It's a strange fire. It's a strange fire. Okay. So you want to make sure that you aren't operating in that as witchcraft. All right. So yes. All right. When you start making grand generalizations about people based upon a little clip you got in the newspaper on your horoscope, okay? You're not an astrologer. You haven't studied astrology. All you know is the sun sign. You don't know about the moon sign, the ascendant, the midheaven, the via combu, etc. The deacons, okay? You haven't learned. You haven't studied. All right. In other words, you're trying to perform a complex ritual. Uh, there you go. A complex ritual having a cursory understanding. All right. So let me get off of that. That's enough of that. I've labored that point enough. You get what I'm saying. All right. So when I use the word witchcraft, now you understand where I'm coming from, not from a hypocritical sense. Okay. I asked a question: what was the difference when Aaron threw down his rod and turned it into a serpent, and Jannes and Jambres threw down their rods, and there's also turned to serpents. There was no difference. There's absolutely no difference. All right. Acts chapter 7, verse 22, Stephen says that Moses was learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians. All right. And as we know from history that the Egyptians were adept, they were astute, they were experts in the occult sciences, alchemy, astrology, metaphysics. Those were the bedrock of that civilization, all the way up to the great Library of Alexandria. All right. And Moses, being a prince of Egypt, was learning all of those systems. All those systems. So what you find interesting in Moses the Magus is you find that there is a mystic in him. There is a Messiah in him. Right. Would you elaborate on this concept as it relates to interpretation? Thank you. All right. So if you read that passage, thou shalt not suffer the witch to live. All right. First of all, you will find that it is an anomalous statement in that chapter. The reason being is because the other verses around it will say, put them to death. All right. Stone them. All right. It will say, put them to death. Here it says, suffer not the witch to live. So in other words, we have everywhere else it says, put them to death. But here it says, don't let them live. All right. Now, if you are a student of the scriptures, you will know that wordings and how they word mean everything. These little nuances are done purposely. All right. There are 2 points I want to itemize here in that verse. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. First of all, is the word witch. Is the word witch. All right. Is the word witch. Now, in the Hebrew, this is not the traditional words used for things like wizards or sorcerers and so on. Those words are not used. The word used here in the Hebrew means a poisoner. A poisoner. Okay, means a poisoner. So there is a translation that, how can I say, had a little bit of an agenda behind it. But all right, a better translation of that word in Hebrew is poisoner. All right, number one. Number two, the phrase suffer not the witch to live. That word live is not about your life, as in your blood and your body and your breathing capacity. That's what we're talking about. It means your livelihood. Do not financially support this individual. Do not allow them to live. Don't give them a livelihood. All right. Don't be going to the poisoner to kill your enemy. No, you need to come before us for justice on your behalf. What Moses was saying. Secondly, going back to my original example about witchcraft, I would say the exact same thing. Suffer not the witch to live. Stop giving these unlearned, unskilled, untrained, uncredentialed, unlicensed spiritual renegades, shade tree spiritualists your money. Suffer them not to live. Man, I felt that. You wanted to say something. You had something to say. Okay. I felt that. Suffer them not to live. All right. Am I saying burn down their house? No. I'm saying withdraw your business. Moses says, suffer them not to live. All right. Stop letting them leech off of you. They are, just pop out the blue. You don't know who they are, where they come from, no kind of lineage, no kind of heritage, no kind of history. Who are you? You know. Hey. All right. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say about that. So I'm glad you bring that up. All right. So when you're reading, sometimes we have biblical assumptions. All right. We call this in the in theology It's called hermeneutics. All right. And hermeneutics relates to any literature. It means how to uh, how to properly translate or interpret a text based on the text. All right, that's what hermen. So you can hermeneuticize Shakespeare, any literature. There are two ways, a right and a wrong way to do hermeneutics. All right, there's the biblical assumption, also known as eisegetical interpretation. Eisegesis is a Greek word, eise, which means to put into the text. All right. So, in other words, you already have a preconceived notion of what this means, or an idea, a construct, a social norm, and you project that onto the manuscript. You project that onto the literature. All right. That is a poor way to interpret literature. All right. You don't put your own views onto it. Instead, tricky with the scriptures, you use exegetical, not eisegetical, exegetical hermeneutics, which means to draw out. Ex means to pull out of the text what's there, not to put into it. All right. So oftentimes when we read things, particularly we are in an environment, or we were not taught, or we were not in a culture that looked at scriptures academically, it was just a bunch of running and jumping and shouting. And I went through all that too. I'm a runner, jumper, and a shouter. Okay. But we don't take a critical look at literature, then we can miss some of the nuances there. And those nuances fall in the pit of biblical assumption. So we assume it's saying, kill the witch. If you do spiritual work, God hates you. You should be stoned to death. But that's not what it says at all. No, it says at all. All right. This is a strange question, but do you believe evil spirits can sometimes attach themselves to tarot cards? Not a strange question at all. And the answer is yes. You got to keep your cards clean. All right. Anything that you use to access, okay, anything that you use as a key to access certain resources, all right, spirits can also access that as well. Here's what becomes problematic. There are works that can be done, all right, to send to you, if you are a worker, a seer, a prophet, a psychic, of whatever, to send to you a spirit of error. All right, to send to you a spirit of error. All right, and the spirit of error will mask itself and deceive you. So you can read on a situation and read falsely. Or oftentimes spirits of error are used with workers. All right, I got one too. Okay, all right, I deploy them also. All right, as a form of defense. All right, we should talk about that in guard 2000. Thank you for bringing that up. We're gonna talk about that, and let me make a note right now. In our webinar on let me make a note on my phone here. On July. I keep saying July. In January the 25th, we're going to talk about that. But to my point, I'm looking for my little notepad here. Spirits of error. Okay, yeah, spirits of error. That will, let's say, for example, you're doing a work and you don't want to be discovered what you're doing, good, bad, ugly, whatever. All right. Then your familiar spirits who work with you, all right, can guard, they can shield and shroud your work. All right. They can camouflage it. All right. So someone who has a spiritual eye who's peering into you or gazing at you, let's say through the tarot, through scrying, through dreams, however they retrieve spiritual information, all right, they will be confused. All right. They will get conflicting reports. They won't be able to see properly. They won't be able to interpret what they're seeing. All right. It'll be shrouded to them. There will be spiritual cataracts on that. There will be a smoke screen around your working. All right. I have that. I have that even over my house. It's very funny because a lot of people, if I give you my address, my physical address, and you GPS it, you will go somewhere else. I've only had like four people actually get here directly. If you GPS it, or if it's your first time coming, all right, then yeah. Well, what I'm saying is your your spiritual court, okay, can be a spirit of error to those who are trying to spy on you. Okay. Yeah, it's a shield. There are many different ways to protect. You can protect by giving misinformation. You can protect by being invisible. You can protect by having a defense, a wall of protection, a firewall of protection. There are many forms of reversal, grounding. These are all different strategies of protection we're going to go into in the webinar. So you haven't registered, go ahead and do that. All right. Um, so that's why if somebody is working your head, no, you wouldn't have to ask your court to do that. Uh-uh. You do your regular protection regimen, and they, all right, will do what is best in the situation. All right. It may just be they just literally blind that person's eye to you altogether. They can't see whatsoever. Okay. All right. They may just be blinded to it. Sometimes they will be able to see a little bit. All right. Remember, well, who was it? Bartimaeus, I want to say, where Jesus spit in his eyes and he went to go wash. And the first time he said, I see trees. It looks like men, but it looks like trees. I'm not quite sure. In other words, your spirits, as a form of defense, can put dirt in your enemy's spiritual eyes. They won't be able to see accurately. All right. Yeah. So they will have misinformation. Okay. Another reference for that is I want to say First Kings chapter 22. All right, where there was a lying spirit sent to the prophets. All right, it lied to them. All right, they were saying, yes, go up to battle, you will win, when in fact the truth was, you go to battle, you're gonna die. All right, now so yeah, I'll just leave that. I'll leave that there. Let me. So Imani, you in my book. So in my apprenticeship program, I give all my students an assignment that proves this. Because y'all know I'm a very scientific person. I like to have results and tests and experiments and so on. That's how I teach. That's how I think. That's how I learn. So what we did was talking about altars and offerings and working with different. It's our spiritology section of that semester. I told them I want you to record how these offerings respond if left on certain spirits. All right. And almost unanimously, I've got two people who said different. That's because they weren't doing it right. Where the stuff, the food, the offering is supernaturally preserved. No mold, no decay, not even bugs, no fruit flies. It's supernaturally preserved. All right. And we found that some spirits, working with Infuri, working with restless dead, working with in tranquil spirits, for example, the food will rot faster. Will rot faster. Um, Other times working with angels, all right, it will not only will it not rot, but it'll keep its luster. All right. I get asked a lot, Doc, how do I know it's time to throw the food away? And we get into that in the altars class. If you haven't picked up the my class on altars, by the way, the discount is still going on. Okay, so get in there. It's still going on. All right, 30% off all of my lesson plans, all of my digital products. 30% off. Use the code Winter18. All right, you can still get it. But in altars, we talk about how how to know when the offering has been eaten from. All right. And one thing I talk about is it will lose its luster. All right. How many of you have been, let's say, to a house showing or anywhere? All right. You may be in the mall or whatever, and they've got this bowl of fruit. All right. And as you're walking closer to oh man, that's a beautiful bowl of fruit. You got grapes, you got oranges, you got apples, you got bananas. But as you get closer, you can tell it's plastic. It has that kind of glossed over plastic look to it. All right. That's how your offerings begin to look. Their luster is gone. The food may still be intact, but that luster, that shine, that aura of animation is gone. And that's because that's what the spirits consume. So they consume. All right. They consume the spiritual virtue of that food, not the physical body of it. Okay. Also, you'll often find too that the rate of decay can also tell you if you've kept your spirits well fed. Often they'll seem to keep on the altar for a very good period of time without decay, and they start decaying very fast. Um, then that can be an indication that you need to keep them fed regularly. It's almost like when you're hungry, you start gorging yourself, eat everything, right? Like Kirby. Um, yeah, so that's what I would say to that. And also in that altar video, we talk about how to divine to see if the offering has been accepted. All right. I've got a student of mine who, has been doing his spiritual protocols and left an offering. Very good practice. Left an offering at the railroad and is still having issues. And he said, well, Doc, I know that the spirit came and got it because, no sooner had I put the offering at the railroad, a train came and knocked the whole thing over. If that's not indicative of being accepted, I don't know what is. Poured out the rum and everything. And I said, well, did you divine to see if the offering was accepted? He was like, well, no. I mean, the train came by. It knocked the thing over. What could that be? And I said, you still need to divine to see if the offering was accepted and if it was sufficient. You know, I think it's the book of First Kings talk about how Elijah was in the mountain and the mountain tore in pieces. A strong fire came, a strong wind came, a strong thunder came, but God was not in it. You can have so what the train came. That don't mean that can mean a number of things. You need to check my divination. I fix my father a cup of coffee um every morning. A cigarette. Great, great. Pour some wine in a wine glass. Oh yeah, they'll definitely evaporate. They're eating it. They're drinking it. Okay. Into the ethers. Ethereal consumption. Yeah, I'm just going back over these notes here. Let me greetings. Let me use my phone. Um yeah, so you want to go ahead and get in. Well, somebody just got their ticket, so it's at a 24 now, so y'all better move. I just got notice on my phone right here. I think that's what that is. Let me check. Yep, yep. What can you do when someone is being stubborn? Um, there's a lot you can do. What's the situation? Kind of give me a quick rundown while I pull up my notes here on. Oh, thank you, thank you. That's my spirit telling me what I'm supposed to be talking about too. While Imani is typing her question out. Yeah, here we go. Okay. What we're going to cover in the protection webinar. Here we go. Obviously, general protection questions and answers, spells to reverse evil, send it back where it came from, how to cast spells for protection against spiritual attack, spells to protect family from bad family members and bad friends. All right. Some of you've got sons and daughters who are hanging out with the wrong crowd. You want to protect them from that. How to deal with cyber stalking, internet abuse, trolls, obviously gossip and slander. We're going to talk about that. Uh-oh. But too late now. I ain't got it now. All right. The webinar is live. All right. But it will be recorded and then it'll be up maybe about a month after. All right. Normally, I release the recording of the previous webinar close to the next one. All right. But it's going to be live. So you're going to be able to ask your questions live in there. This is how the format is going to be. It's going to be a 2-hour webinar. The first hour is going to be just information overload. All right. But with me and Dogon, we're going to be giving you concepts and techniques and strategies for protection. All right. If you don't have any, how to get some. If you got some, how to make it better. All right. After that first hour, then he is going to do a 15-minute demonstration, live demonstration on how to do a particular protection. All right. Ritual. And then after him, I'm going to take 15 minutes and also do a different protection ritual. All right. So you will leave with at least 2 new spells, 2 new rituals. All right. Where you can know exactly what it looks like. It's going to be on camera. You can watch us. And then after that, we'll have 30 minutes of Q&A from the audience. All right. So that's how your 2 hours is going to go. All right. Um, what to do when your name is being burned under a candle? How do you protect against that? What to do if somebody has your personal concerns? That chick got your brush, bruh. She got your do-rag. Now what? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? You gonna come to the webinar? What you gonna do? You gonna get a ticket to the webinar? Okay. Um, how do you protect against an unknown enemy? Doc, I don't know who it is. I don't know their name. I don't know what they look like. I just know I'm under attack. All right. I gotta have an idea. I don't have any personal concerns of this. How can I protect against them? We're gonna talk about that. Um, how to protect against not just cyber stalkers, but physical stalkers, how to repel them, bullies. All right. How can you, in a sneaky way, protect your children going to school? All right. There are certain works you can do on their book bag that they carry with them, for example, or their purse or their cell phone. All right. When they're sleeping, take that. We'll show you how to work. That's when they go to school, it'll repel danger. All right. This is also going to be a hot one. And we talked about it before this storm came, but harassment, sexual and otherwise. All right. Um, how to protect, your home, your doors, your yard, etc. Uh, we even got one where you have worked against somebody, okay, and you want to protect against them, against the blowback from that. All right, get in the webinar too. We'll let you sneak on in there. Okay. Um, protection from the police. There's a whole lot, and this is not just um, if you're trying to, avoid a warrant, whatever the case may be, keep them away from your home. But also, I mean, the day we live in, people are being killed, all right, by people in uniform. All right. So there's a whole even different level here. How to protect your property against vandalism. Um, what are some amulets, some charms, some mojos, some fetishes that you can have, some talismans you can use that will protect. All right. Um, we're gonna answer a very big question. Well, thank you. A very big question is, can too much protection be a bad thing? All right, we're going to answer that question. Also, we're going to talk about. I can see this. I got a list. Okay, of stuff we're going to talk about in this webinar. Um, how to protect after you hot foot an enemy, keep them from coming back. We're going to talk about how to be made invisible magically. Obviously, working with red brick dust. Okay. Any type of spirituality. All right. Some of them, all of them, none of them at all. You don't have to be a hoodoo per se. You don't have to be, Wicca, ceremonial, whatever the case may be. All right. We're going to give you some techniques that is, how can I say? I guess like common, I don't want to call it common sense, but common in the sense that many cultures share these same strategies. That's what I want to say. All right. Um, we're going to talk about different spirits that help to guard, and it's called Guard 2019 for a reason. Spirits that can help guard and protect your home. Also, we're going to talk about how to set spiritual alarm systems to alert you when you're under attack, when you're being thrown at, before it comes to you. All right. See, it says right here. These techniques aren't just for one specific spiritual tradition either, but for anyone who puts magic to a practical use. See, I wrote that in there. See, you get my book. All right. So that's all gonna be in the write-up. I'm just going through some of the stuff here. So just to kind of give you guys an idea of what we're going to be discussing in the webinar. And again, I'm gonna do a write-up on it on Facebook, and I'll do a video about it, a promo video on YouTube as well. So that being said, let me go back to the original point earlier in the show, and then we have time. We'll take a couple more questions about the webinar, whatever else y'all want to talk about. My demonstration is going to be a psychic decoy. How to create, consecrate, make, prepare, activate, insert adjective here, or verb here rather, a psychic decoy. I'm gonna write it up. I haven't written it up yet. I'm gonna write it up, and it'll be on Facebook. Again, it'll be on YouTube. I'm gonna put out an ad for it on YouTube, so you'll see it on my channel. A pilot video. What is a psychic decoy? Why do you need one? This came about by me working for other workers. If you are a worker yourself, where and when it's going to be. Let me go ahead and put the link back up here again for those who want to register. $50. We got 23 seats available. 22 seats available. Okay, we had 25. 23 seats available. It's going. It's going to be an online webinar. It's going to be on the Zoom platform. Okay. It's $50. It's going to be January the 25th. That's a Friday at 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be about 2 hours. So make sure that you have some time in a quiet space where you can take notes or whatever for about 2 hours, 2 hours and change to get this information. All right. Decoy. If you are a spiritualist, if you are a spiritual worker yourself, all right, you need a psychic decoy. I got one. All right. One of the ways I became, I don't say famous, but known within spiritual circles because I built them for other workers. What does it do? How does it work? You've heard the phrase of a psychic vampire, all right? Somebody who drains your energy psychically, right? You feel worn out, you feel tired, etc. When I was in the Periscope circles, they did a lot of online readings for people. All right, they were psychics, oracle card readers, mediums, you name it, they were on there. All right, insert title here. And they would be on there, feel drained. They were under different types of aches and pains in their body, definite symptoms of spiritual attack, psychic attack. And one of it was because there's a lot of jealousy on Periscope. It's like anywhere. All right. Somebody who's a reader, they see you doing something they're doing, they get jealous, they want to be in your school, they want to throw the evil eye at you, etc. You get drained. All right. You get drained. So what the psychic decoy is, even if that person has your personal concerns, they've got your menstrual blood, they've got your semen, they've got your hair, whatever. They've gotten they got a toenail. It don't matter. All right. When they send a spiritual charge through that artifact of yours, it will not hit you, it will hit the decoy. All right. The decoy will work as a magical lightning rod and draw the attack away from you or your church or your business or your home, your car, whatever, to the decoy. And the decoy will take the hit and not you. All right. And not you. Especially if you are having different types of psychic visitations where people are projecting in your dreams, or you're having open visions while you're driving, they're disrupting you by projecting this into your mind, etc. Then you need a psychic decoy. Okay. So yeah, that's gonna be my demonstration come the 25th of January. I'm going to show you how to build a psychic decoy. All right. In other words, this decoy is going to exude. It's going to be like your psychic twin. All right. How to create an astral or a psychic twin so that when somebody launches an attack at you, it won't hit you, it'll hit your decoy. It'll hit your other. All right. Your doppelganger, whatever you want to call it. All right. And it will ground that charge. Now, if you was my student, back over here. If you were my student, I'd show you a step further where not only will it move that attack from you, all right, but it will send the power to you. All right. So the power they send out to attack you, it will dull the attack, but you'll be able to eat the power and become stronger. Like a loop back grid. But you know that's too deep for some of y'all. I can't give all that out now. You know that's too deep for y'all. Ain't ready for that. That's advanced conjure right there. That's upper level stuff. Okay. But my time is about up. I'll take maybe two more questions. You see, you get off 7:30. We'll be on. Just come in and get on. All right. Uh, can you do a less spell with railroad ties? Yes. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. All right, well, I would investigate the dream with a external divination system. Um, should I be concerned? Woke up one night with my mouth burning as if I ate a hot pepper, but I didn't. If you ruled out all the mundane stuff like acid reflux, etc., which you ate the night before, then yes. I often caution people against, and I may do a series about psychic warfare, against the spiritual warfare and psychic warfare, two different forms of battle, but against eating in your sleep. In other words, if you're in a dream, all right, and being fed, and I've talked about this oftentimes, even on the Working with the Spirit show. Imani, contact me, email me after this. I'll respond back to you. What are they gonna say? Yeah, don't eat in your sleep. Don't eat in dreams. Okay. All right. I will be very cautious about eating anything in a dream. Oftentimes, someone is attacking you psychically, and they don't have a personal concern of yours. All right. In other words, they can't feed you their menstrual blood in the physical and the mundane, real world, and the waking world. They will feed it to you while you are asleep, uh, in the astral, in the dream world. All right. So you will take that into your dream body, and it will begin to produce the same kind of effects. All right. So yeah. All right. I got to get out of here. Um, I got to get out of here. Love you guys. I will be back on when I can, breaking off some time. Um, yes. Okay, Renee got in just in that. Yes. That'll be forthcoming. What's today? Tuesday this week. The 21-day miracle. I'm halfway done uploading it. Will be out. I'm just trying to figure out how to give it to y'all for free through Gumroad. Gumroad's actually really weird about that. Yeah, so it'll be out this week, so be looking out for that. In the meantime, I hold you in the light of God that never fails. I hold you in the light of God that never fails. I hold you in the light of God that never fails. God bless you all forever, and I'll talk with you guys later.